Joan Collins made a phone call that destroyed Warren Beatty forever, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why Hollywood's biggest playboy became a broken man who disappeared from the spotlight. Warren Beatty wasn't born rich or famous. He came from Richmond, Virginia, where his parents worked as school teachers. His mom, Kathleen, taught drama, and his dad, Ira, ran the school. They lived in a small house with big dreams. Warren's sister, Shirley, was the star of the family. She could sing, dance, and act. Everyone knew she would make it big someday. But Warren was different. He was quiet, shy, and loved to read books. Nobody thought this skinny kid would become Hollywood royalty. In high school, Warren shocked everyone. The bookworm became a football star. He was tall, handsome, and strong. College scouts wanted him. His parents were proud. But Warren had a secret. After every game, he would sneak into the empty school theater. He would practice acting alone in the dark. One night, his coach found him there at midnight. Warren was reading Shakespeare out loud. The coach asked what he was doing. Warren looked up and said something that changed everything. "Getting ready for my real life." When Warren turned 18, his sister came home from New York. She was working on Broadway now. She told stories about the theater world, about famous actors and directors. Warren listened to every word. That night, he made a decision that would break his father's heart. He was going to be an actor. The fight with his dad was ugly. Neighbors heard them shouting. His father called him stupid and said he would fail. Warren packed his bags and left home. He never forgot those words. They would haunt him for the rest of his life. New York City in 1957 was tough for a kid from Virginia. Warren lived in a tiny room that cost almost all his money. He worked at a cheap restaurant during the day. At night he took acting classes. His teacher was Stella Adler, who had trained Marlon Brando. She was mean and tough. She made Warren cry during lessons. But she saw something special in him. She told him he had talent, but he needed to find his truth. Warren was hungry most days. He ate one meal and saved money for acting classes. Other actors in his building gave up and went home, but Warren stayed. He was determined to prove his father wrong. After 2 years of struggle, he got a small part in a Broadway play. The critics noticed him. Soon, Hollywood called. Warren was just 22 when he got on a plane to Los Angeles. He had no idea that this city would make him famous and destroy his soul at the same time. The Vietnam War was starting, and young men were being drafted. Warren didn't want to fight. He came up with a plan that would shame him forever. He joined the California Air National Guard, but he never planned to serve. After 1 year, he got kicked out dishonorably. This made him safe from the draft, but it also made him a coward. Warren never told anyone about this lie. It ate at him every day. To hide his shame, Warren became obsessed with success. He had to be the best actor, the most handsome man, and the greatest lover in Hollywood. This obsession would ruin many lives. Joan Collins was already a star when Warren met her at a party. She was 4 years older, and much more experienced. But Warren's charm worked on her. They started dating, and Joan thought she had found her future husband. She was wrong. Warren had needs that scared her. She later said she couldn't keep up with his demands in the bedroom. But the real horror was still coming. Warren got his first big movie role in Splendor in the Grass. His co-star was Natalie Wood, a former child actor trying to become a serious star. Natalie was married, but Warren didn't care. He seduced her while Joan watched from the sidelines. The newspapers wrote about their affair. Joan was humiliated. She flew back from Europe to confront Warren. He proposed to her just to keep her quiet. Joan said yes and thought she had won. She had no idea what Warren was really like. The affair with Natalie Wood continued. Warren was playing both women against each other. Natalie left her husband for him. Joan moved out of their apartment. Warren moved in with Natalie before his first movie even came out. But Warren was already bored. He did something that showed his true character. One night, while out with friends, Warren simply vanished. He was gone for a whole week. No phone call, no explanation, nothing. When he came back, Natalie threw him out. She was so heartbroken. that she tried to kill herself that same night. Warren had destroyed her. But Warren felt no guilt. He saw women as toys to play with. His next victim was the legendary Vivian Leigh, who was 20 years older than him. While dating her, he was also sleeping with actress Susan Strasberg. Warren was collecting famous women like trophies. The success of Splendor in the Grass made Warren a star, but it also revealed his dark side. He hated interviews and refused to talk about his personal life. He was becoming paranoid and cruel. Joan Collins discovered she was pregnant with his baby. She was terrified. Having a baby out of wedlock would destroy her career. Warren didn't know about the pregnancy. Joan made a decision that would haunt her for 40 years. She had an abortion and never told Warren. She carried this secret until she wrote her memoir decades later. Warren moved on to his next conquest, Julie Christie. She was beautiful, talented and independent. Warren thought he could control her like the others. But Julie was different. She agreed to an open relationship, which meant they could both see other people. This arrangement fed Warren's sick need for multiple women. During this time, Warren was also building his career. He produced and starred in Bonnie and Clyde, a movie that made him rich and powerful. The success went to his head. He became even more arrogant and controlling. On movie sets, he would cast his ex-girlfriends alongside his current girlfriends. He enjoyed watching them compete for his attention. The most disgusting example of his behavior happened during Warren cast Julie Christie, his ex-girlfriend, in the movie. He also cast his current girlfriend. But that wasn't enough. He also tried to seduce 17-year-old Carrie Fisher, who had a small part in the film. Carrie was just a teenager, and Warren was almost 40. She rejected him, making her one of the few women who said no to Warren Beatty. Years later, Carrie spoke about how uncomfortable Warren made her feel. Warren's pattern continued through the 1970s and 90s. He promised marriage to many of them, but always disappeared when things got serious. Michelle Phillips, a singer, lived with him for 2 years. He promised her babies and the wedding. When their relationship ended, Michelle needed therapy to recover. She said Warren's promises were all lies. Warren also dated Madonna, Diane Keaton, and Stephanie Seymour. Each relationship followed the same pattern: intense romance, promises of love, then sudden abandonment. Warren was 50 years old and still acting like a teenager. But Warren's past was catching up with him. Natalie Wood, his first victim, was found dead in 1981. She had drowned under mysterious circumstances. Warren was reminded of how he had driven her to attempt suicide 20 years earlier. The guilt finally started to affect. Around this time, Warren had a strange encounter that would become legendary. He met Marilyn Monroe at a party in 19. They spent the evening together. Warren played piano for her, and they walked on the beach. He said it was more spiritual than romantic. The next day, Marilyn was found dead. Warren was one of the last people to see her alive. This experience shook him deeply. By 1990, Warren was 53 years old and tired. He had slept with hundreds of women. Some people claimed the number was over 30. He had won awards and made millions of dollars. But he was empty inside. He was known as Hollywood's biggest playboy, but he had no real friends, and no family. Then something impossible happened. Warren was casting actors for his movie Bugsy when a young actress named Annette Bening walked into the room. She was beautiful, but that wasn't unusual for Warren. What was unusual was what happened next. After her audition, Warren called the director and said something he had never said before. "I'm going to marry her." Annette was not impressed by his fame or money. She was strong and independent. She challenged him and refused to play his games. For the first time in his life, Warren had met a woman he couldn't control. The courtship was different. Instead of his usual tricks and manipulation, Warren was honest with Annette. He told her about his past and his fears. When she became pregnant with their first child, Warren faced the biggest test of his life. He could run away like he always did, or he could finally grow up. Warren chose to grow up. In 1992, at age 55, he married Annette Bening. They had 4 children together: Stephen, Benjamin, Isabel, and Ella. Warren stopped making movies to focus on being a father and husband. Hollywood was shocked that a man who had never committed to anything was now changing diapers and attending school plays. Being a father taught Warren about real love for the first time. When his oldest child Stephen came out as transgender, Warren faced another test. Many men of his generation would have rejected their child. But Warren surprised everyone. He supported Stephen completely, and called him a revolutionary, a genius, and my hero. The transformation wasn't easy. Warren had spent decades hurting people, and changing those habits was painful. He had to face the damage he had caused to Joan Collins, Natalie Wood, Michelle Phillips, and dozens of other women. He couldn't undo the past, but he could try to be better. Today, Warren Beatty is 87 years old. He hasn't made a movie in years and rarely appears in public. Reports say he has memory problems, and prefers to stay home. His wife Annette still works, and was nominated for an Oscar in 2024 for her role in Nyad. But Warren stayed home instead of attending the ceremony with her. He has finally learned that supporting someone you love sometimes means staying in the background. Warren's story is both inspiring and tragic. He had everything: looks, talent, money and fame. But he used these gifts to hurt innocent people for decades. His transformation into a loving husband and father came too late to help his victims. But it proves that even the worst people can change if they really want to. The women Warren destroyed along the way paid the price for his journey to becoming a better man. Joan Collins kept her abortion secret for 40 years. Natalie Wood's mental health never recovered from their relationship. Michelle Phillips needed therapy to heal from his lies. These women deserved better, and Warren knows. Warren Beatty's greatest role wasn't any character he played in movies. It was learning to become a decent human being. His story shows us that it's never too late to change, but it also reminds us that our actions have consequences that can last forever. The next time you hear about a celebrity behaving badly, remember Warren Beatty's story and ask yourself, will they learn and grow, or will they keep hurting people until it's too late? Hit that subscribe button if you want more shocking Hollywood stories that reveal the truth behind the glamour.